Before anything appears in your world, it must first be conceived in the silence of your inner self. All that you experience, every coin earned, every opportunity received, every manifestation of success is but a reflection of a deeper truth that lies within your consciousness. You are not here to beg for abundance or chase wealth. You are here to remember that abundance is your nature. You are not trying to become rich. You already are. But until that truth becomes alive in your inner conversations, until it becomes the natural rhythm of your imagination, the outer world will continue to echo the illusion of lack. This speech is not merely a collection of affirmations. It is an unveiling of your spiritual authority, a reawakening of the great I Am within you. As you allow these words to sink deeply into your awareness, do not merely listen, feel them. Embrace them, let them reshape your assumptions about who you are and what you deserve. You are abundant, not because of what the world gives you, but because of who you are in essence. You are rich, not in pursuit, but in presence. You are wealthy, not by effort alone, but by alignment with your own creative power. As these affirmations unfold, let go of the old identity, release the grip of scarcity, and step boldly into the truth that has always been yours. I am abundant. I am rich, I am wealthy. All that you perceive in the external world is but a mirror reflecting the state of your inner consciousness. Everything begins and ends in awareness. The concept that consciousness is the only reality is not abstract theory. It is the foundation of true wealth creation. Your bank account, business opportunities, and financial relationships are all outward expressions of what you accept as true within yourself. When you begin to realize that nothing comes to you, but everything comes from you, a profound shift begins. You stop seeking validation in the world and start reshaping your internal assumptions. The idea is simple but powerful. Nothing exists independently of your perception. If you see lack, it is because your consciousness holds lack. If you see abundance, then abundance has already taken root in the fertile soil of your inner belief system. The outer world is not the cause, it is the result, and the cause is your inner state, your persistent self, your dominant feeling. So if you desire to change your financial world, do not chase external circumstances. Instead, revise the internal assumptions that have authored them. You may say, but I'm surrounded by limitation. My debts are real. My job is unstable. Yes, those facts are part of the current play being acted out. But who is the playwright? It is your consciousness that has accepted these experiences as possible, likely, or inevitable. Once you withdraw belief from them and invest belief into new assumptions, you begin to rewrite the scene. Your world bends to match the tone of your inner dialogue. You are never observing a fixed reality. You are witnessing a reality in motion, responding to your inner state like a shadow follows form. This is not magical thinking. It is the science of awareness. Just as the seed contains the blueprint of the tree, your consciousness contains the blueprint of your financial destiny. If you plant seeds of abundance through thought, feeling, and assumption, you must, by universal law, harvest abundance. But if your inner world is filled with weeds of doubt, fear, and unworthiness, then no matter how hard you work externally, prosperity will feel elusive. To transform your life, you must begin with identity. Who do you believe yourself to be? If you see yourself as someone struggling, then no amount of effort will override that dominant identity. But the moment you choose to identify as someone who is abundant, rich, and deeply provided for, your consciousness begins to reshape your world accordingly. Not through force, but through alignment, through effortless reflection. The outer world is clay, and your consciousness is the mold. Every circumstance is molded by what you believe, feel, and expect. Wealth begins not with what you do, but with what you are in awareness. And when you fully grasp that consciousness is the only true substance from which your world emerges, you will never again feel powerless. You will no longer wait for abundance. You will become it. You said, expand the 2 keynote do not add headings up to 500 words, ChatGPT said. To manifest wealth and success, you must first understand the immense creative power of your own inner state. Reality bends itself to the feeling you carry most persistently. The secret lies in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not as a hope, not as a distant dream, but as a living, breathing truth experienced now in the present moment. You do not wait for money to arrive before you feel prosperous. You assume prosperity, and through that assumption, you call the experience into form. Feeling is the secret language through which your inner world speaks to the outer. When you enter the feeling that your desire is already realized, you align with a version of yourself that already possesses the wealth, success, or freedom you seek. This inner alignment is not a mental fantasy. It is an emotional truth that reorders your subconscious beliefs and activates new pathways in your experience. When you dwell in the state of already having, the outer world is compelled to mirror it. It has no choice. Most people wait for conditions to give them permission to feel successful or secure. They say, once I have the money, I'll feel wealthy. Once I get the job, I'll feel valuable. But this is the great reversal of creative law. The outer cannot change until the inner is first transformed. Your task is to feel now as though you have already received what you desire. Walk, speak, and breathe as the person who has already succeeded. Not to pretend or to lie to yourself, but to impress your subconscious with the vibration of fulfillment. Assumption is not a mental trick. It is a spiritual law. When you assume something to be true and persist in that assumption, it becomes fact. You are not hoping, you are not waiting, you are knowing. The moment you say inwardly, it is done, and genuinely feel the satisfaction of its completion, you release the resistance that delays its arrival. That inner satisfaction is the seed from which the manifestation grows. This practice is not a one-time event. It is a daily state of mind, a new self concept cultivated through repetition and emotion. You revise how you see yourself. You replace old narratives of struggle and scarcity with a new identity rooted in abundance. You affirm, I am already wealthy, I am already successful, my desires are already mine. And you let those words not just pass through your lips, but settle deeply into your being. From that inner assumption, life reorganizes. People, events, and opportunities align with your new inner script. What you assume to be real internally becomes real externally, not by force, but by law. The law that governs all creation responds not to your outer striving, but to your inner knowing. So assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live in the end, and let your world reflect your inner wealth. Imagination is not a passive activity of the mind. It is the creative power that shapes your reality. Every experience, every object, every circumstance that you encounter has its origin in someone's imagination. The house you live in was first a thought in someone's mind. The money you desire, the business you want to build, the freedom you crave. They all begin in the realm of imagination before they become physical fact. Imagination is the workshop of your future, the unseen blueprint from which all things are constructed. You are not simply a receiver of life's conditions. You are their originator through the images you entertain. When you imagine vividly, with feeling and clarity, you are not daydreaming, you are crafting. You are impressing the subconscious mind with new instructions. And your subconscious, which governs 95% of your behavior and perception, responds not to logic or reason, but to the language of imagery and emotion. When you imagine yourself as abundant, rich, and successful, and you do so consistently, you are programming your inner reality to express that truth outwardly. The challenge for most is that they misuse imagination. They use it to rehearse failure, to dwell on what could go wrong, to relive painful memories, and to fear lack. But that too is a creative act. Worry is imagination with a destructive focus. It creates exactly what is feared. But when you become conscious of your imaginative power and direct it with intention, you become the master of your destiny. You realize that what you vividly imagine, persistently feel, and deeply accept must become your experience. Your imagination must be exercised like a muscle. You must train it daily, guiding it to dwell in the state of your desired end. Picture yourself holding the wealth, living in the home, traveling the world, giving generously, and operating from ease. Let your senses participate, see it, hear it, touch it in your mind's eye, and most importantly, feel it. The feeling seals the image into your subconscious and initiates the process of manifestation. You are not waiting for signs from the world. You are producing the signs through your inner world. As you begin to live more from your imagination than from your senses, you step into your role as a conscious creator. The world of appearances may not yet reflect your vision, but you hold firm in imagination until it does. That is the secret of the great achievers, not that they were lucky, but that they imagined a life greater than their present one, and they believed in it long enough to make it real. Imagination is not wishful thinking. It is spiritual vision. It is the eye that sees beyond limitation. To imagine with intention is to say, I believe in a reality not yet seen, but deeply felt. And what is felt persistently, with conviction, must be made flesh. So honor your imagination. Use it wisely. In it lies the power to become anything, to create everything, and to live as the abundant, rich, and wealthy being you were always meant to be. The two most powerful words you will ever speak are I am. Whatever follows these words begins to take root in your consciousness, and with time blossoms into the reality you live. The phrase I am is not just a linguistic structure. It is a declaration of identity, a creative command issued directly to the subconscious mind. It is the foundation upon which your self-image is built. When you say, I am abundant, you are not merely stating a hope. You are identifying with abundance, claiming it as your present truth, regardless of appearances. Your identity governs your experience. You can never consistently act or receive in a way that contradicts who you believe yourself to be. If at the deepest level you identify as someone struggling with money, unworthy of wealth, or constantly lacking, no external success can last. It will be sabotaged by the unconscious pull of your self-concept. But when you shift that concept, when you begin to say and feel, I am wealthy, I am provided for, I am a magnet for prosperity, you send a new set of instructions to your inner mind. You change the blueprint from which your outer world is built. This is not about wishful statements spoken without conviction. It's about a deep inner shift where these affirmations become your truth, not just your hope. At first, saying, I am rich, may feel unnatural if your current life says otherwise, but persist. Your subconscious does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It only accepts what is repeated with feeling. Over time, the identity of lack is replaced by one of sufficiency, and from that new identity, new experiences are drawn to you. The words you speak after I am should never be taken lightly. They are seeds, and each one grows into form. You must be vigilant. Never say, even jokingly, "I am broke, I am unlucky, I am not enough." These declarations are acts of creation, even when made in passing. Replace them deliberately. Choose to speak power into your being. I am increasing in wealth every day. I am open to receiving all forms of abundance. I am aligned with the energy of prosperity. This process is transformative, not just materially, but spiritually. Because as you claim a higher identity, you move closer to your true nature, one that is limitless, creative, and whole. You begin to see that wealth is not something you chase. It is something you reveal by becoming the person who naturally receives it. You do not need to become someone else. You only need to remember who you truly are, a being of infinite potential, endowed with the power to declare and define your reality. So guard your I am statements carefully. Speak them with authority, repeat them with conviction, and let each affirmation be a brick in the construction of your wealthy, abundant life. You are not becoming rich. You are remembering that you already are. The journey to wealth is not always immediate, but it is always certain for the one who persists in the right assumption. Persistence is more powerful than talent, louder than circumstances, and stronger than doubt. To persist in the inner conviction of wealth, even when outer evidence appears unchanged, is to master the art of conscious creation. The world may try to distract you with delays, disappointments, or the illusion of limitation, but your assumption, held firmly and repeatedly, overrides all of it. Your external world may still reflect lack, and your mind may try to convince you that nothing is changing, but this is where most give up right at the edge of transformation. They begin strong, full of belief, but falter when the results don't come fast enough. Yet the law remains unshaken. What you consistently assume must eventually harden into fact. The only question is whether you can hold your inner vision long enough for reality to catch up. Think of persistence as spiritual endurance. You are not battling circumstances. You are outlasting them. You are holding to your vision when everything in the physical world seems to disagree. You are saying with calm certainty, "I know who I am abundant, I am already wealthy." And even when your senses scream the opposite, you remain still in your knowing, because you understand that reality bends to the will of sustained assumption. Every time you affirm your wealth, visualize your abundance, or feel the joy of financial freedom, you are watering the seed planted in your consciousness. At first, nothing seems to happen. The soil looks the same. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, systems are realigning, opportunities are organizing themselves in response to your inner state. To the untrained eye, it appears like nothing is working, but to the one who understands the power of inner conviction, it is already done. Persistence does not mean effort in the physical sense. It means returning again and again to the state of the wish fulfilled. It means catching yourself when doubt creeps in and gently guiding your mind back to your chosen reality. It means refusing to identify with lack, no matter how convincing the illusion appears. True persistence is inner steadiness, a deep knowing that your desire is not only possible, but inevitable. The universe is never testing you. It is reflecting you, and when you persist in assuming abundance, the universe must yield, must rearrange, must conform. There is no force greater than sustained belief in one's own wealth. You do not need to fight your present reality. You only need to outlast it with a higher assumption, a greater self-image, and a vision so vivid that it eclipses the temporary facts of today. So persist, not with desperation, but with quiet confidence. Let your repeated assumption become your new identity. Let that identity become your new vibration, and let that vibration draw to you all that wealth requires: opportunity, people, ideas, and action. Hold firm for what you persist in assuming you are destined to receive. True wealth does not begin with numbers on a screen, properties in your name, or the cash in your wallet. It begins with a deep, unwavering sense of inner sufficiency, a knowing that you are already enough, already full, already provided for. Spiritual wealth is the origin of all material abundance. Without it, any external riches are fragile, temporary, and often filled with anxiety. But when you are rooted in a feeling of internal completeness, material wealth flows to you as a natural extension of your being. Many chase money as if it will fix a feeling of lack within them. But no amount of income can fill a void created by self, doubt, fear, or unworthiness. You may acquire wealth, but if you do not feel wealthy inside, it will never satisfy you. It will feel like something you must cling to or constantly fight to maintain. This is because true prosperity is not a matter of possession, but of perception. You must first feel rich to live richly. Spiritual wealth is a quiet, stable awareness that you are deeply connected to the source of all supply. That source is infinite and never in shortage. It is the same intelligence that breathes your body, grows the trees, and turns seasons in perfect rhythm. When you identify with this source, not just intellectually, but emotionally, you stop seeing money as scarce or hard to earn. You understand that money is one of many expressions of the abundance that already exists in you. The wealth you seek is not separate from you. It is drawn to you in proportion to how much you allow yourself to embody it. When you wake up feeling grateful, when you give without fear, when you imagine lavishly and walk confidently through your day, you are living as someone who is already abundant. You are no longer waiting for money to come before you feel rich. You are radiating richness now, and that energy becomes a magnetic force. This inner wealth cannot be taken away by market changes, lost jobs, or economic shifts. It is untouchable because it is not based on form. It is based on consciousness. From this deep foundation, your actions become empowered, your ideas more inspired, and your results more aligned. You stop trying to force things and begin to flow with life, trusting that all that is meant for you is already on its way. When you recognize yourself as spiritually wealthy, you also become more generous, more trusting, and more at peace. You no longer see money as your source, but as a servant to your vision, a tool in your hand, not a master over your mind. You begin to move differently in the world, not from a place of survival, but from a place of creative joy. So cultivate that inner wealth. Sit in silence and feel the fullness of who you are. Speak from abundance, act from wholeness, and watch as the external world organizes itself around the richness of your spirit. Wealth was never something to be chased. It was always something to be revealed from within. You were never meant to struggle, chase, or live in fear of lack. You were created to express abundance, to radiate prosperity, and to walk in the authority of one who knows their worth. Every affirmation you've spoken, I am abundant, I am rich, I am wealthy, is not a wish, but a declaration of your divine identity. These are not merely words to repeat, but seeds to plant within your consciousness. With care, repetition, and belief, they will grow into visible reality. You now know that consciousness is the source, not circumstance, that by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you collapse time and invite manifestation. That imagination, used deliberately, is the most sacred tool of creation. That the I am you affirm is the most powerful statement of identity you can make. That persistence, not perfection, is what turns the unseen into the seen. And that spiritual wealth, feeling whole, content, and worthy, always comes before material wealth. This journey is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you already are beneath the noise, the doubt, and the programming. You are not trying to be rich. You already are now. You are aligning with that truth. You are not convincing the universe. You are convincing yourself. And once that inner agreement is made, nothing outside of you can stop what has already been claimed within. So go forward now, not as someone trying to attract wealth, but as someone who embodies it. Let your thoughts reflect abundance. Let your emotions match the joy of financial freedom. Let your imagination live in the reality you desire. Persist, believe, align, and allow, because you are abundant, you are rich, you are wealthy. And now it is time to live that truth.